All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome back, everyone. This is hour 2 of tonight's show here in the X Zone with yours truly, Rob McConnell, from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. And you're listening to us on the X Zone Broadcast Network, where our studios and our corporate offices are, Talkstar Radio, and the Mutual Broadcast Network. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, Xzone Radio TV. And if you'd like to listen to all the great programming we have available for you, 7/24/365, it's very simple. We have about 72 different shows that we do. And all you need to do is go to www.xzbn.net. And they're all free, with the compliments of the X Zone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, and of course, Relwar McConnell Media Company. Exo Nation, my first guest. This is hour number 2. My guest this hour is Gary Parker. Excuse me, and he discovered a giant alien in a July 26th, 2012 NASA photo. He made video showing how to find and see the alien. He sent the video to NASA last week, and this was when he sent us something back. I believe it was in 2023, The story that he has, I'm just going to let him tell it again for all our new listeners here on the X Zone. And Gary, first of all, welcome back to the X Zone, and how are you?
Oh, I'm great. Thanks for having me, Rob.
All right, Gary, we've got a lot of new listeners since you and I were last here together. Tell them the story.
Well, let me just say this. Let me apologize to the listeners who have listened to the other ones, because you're going to kind of hear the same story, but there's a twist later on at the end.
All right. Everybody likes a twist here. Chubby Checkers, the Beatles.
That's funny.
All right.
So what it was, a few years ago, I was looking at some NASA photos. I mean, there's a lot more to it that I'm just going to kind of get to the point. I was doing some work on some NASA photos in order to do a job in Egypt around the Giza Plateau. And as I pulled up this one NASA photo, it was the very first one I pulled up, I noticed that I actually was sitting on my bed. I had my laptop on my lap, and as I'm looking at it, it fell over, and something flashed in front of my eyes. And I said, "What is that?" And I opened up the laptop completely as far as it could go, and I started tilting it. I grabbed under the keyboards, and I started to tilt it back. And as soon as I did that, you could see images appearing. So I zoomed in, I zoomed out. I was working with it, and I found some writing, some ancient, like Proto-Hebrew writing, beside the Great Pyramid. And I said, "What is that?" And because it looked like letters, so I wrote them down. And the next morning, I contacted a Judaic scholar over at the University of Arizona, and because I was living in Arizona at the time, I'm now in West Los Angeles. But I sent them down to this Judaic scholar, and he translated them for me. And he said, "How did you find this?" I said, "It's in a NASA photo." he said, why don't you come down when you have time and show it to me, because I'd like to see it. I said, well, we need a very dark room, and blah, blah, blah. So I drove down. I lived maybe an hour and a half from Tucson. I drove down to Tucson. We got together, made the room dark, brought out my laptop, showed him everything, and he looked at me. He goes, "You put that there." He thought I had what's it called? The word when you fix something on the internet?
Photoshopped.
And you do it yourself. What's it called?
Photoshopped.
Yeah, he said you. That's exactly what he said. He goes, "Gary, you photoshopped that." And I said to him, I said, his last name was Wright, Dr. Wright. And I said, Dr. Wright, I said, how many people in the world could write that? He said, not many, maybe 25, maybe 50 know what it says. I said, what does it say? And he says, it says, God and the Lord of the underworld. And I said, that's amazing. He goes, Gary, how did you know how to do that? I said, I'm telling you, Dr. Wright, I didn't do it. I discovered it. So long story short, I went back home. I started seeing more things, and then one night I was sound asleep, and I heard a voice in a dream, and it said to me, go down to the river, stand in the water, face east, and in your bare feet, and say these words in Hebrew. And I was startled. I sat up in bed. And I said, what was that? So what happened was when I said these words, when the voice said these words, he said, say them in Hebrew. I don't know Hebrew. So what I did was I contacted and I wrote the words down as soon as I woke up that night. So I called a rabbi up in Phoenix, and I told him what I needed written in Hebrew, and he wrote them out phonetically for me. Excuse me. So I went down to the river like the second day, because I practiced it a couple times, and I stood in the water, and I put my hands up, and I faced east, and I yelled out these words. It was L, Kadosh, 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 Heineni, Heineni, Heineni. And I had to say them 3 times. So, and I kind of said them in a melodic, kind of sing-songy way. And I said them real loud, and nothing happened. Like I'm standing in this water in the middle of the desert. There's no one around, and I'm yelling out these words in Hebrew. Nothing happened. So I said, well, I better try it again, because I figured something was going to appear.
Sure.
I said them again, and nothing happened. So I went back home. And when I went home, I was really disappointed, because I said, well, come on, the voice told me to say these words.
Yeah.
So what happens is, all of a sudden, I turn on the laptop. It's on the NASA photo, and I could see everything in the NASA photo. And when I say I could see everything, I could see all the images and all the letters, but I didn't know what they were. I had no idea what it was. So I went to a couple people who I know, because I figured one thing looked like the Garden of Eden. And I said, that looks like a snake and a big tree, and it, like I said, it's all in this photo. So I went to this guy who I know, who's a big Bible guy, and he's just a regular guy, he's just a working guy.
Sure.
But he looked at it and he said, Gary, that's the Garden of Eden. And I said, really? He goes, look, there's the snake, there's the tree, there's the cherubim. There was the Uriel, the angel that protects the east side of the Garden of Eden so people can't get in, and also a flaming sword. I said, oh, my God. He goes, don't you know anything about the Bible? He says to me.
Gary,
and I said, well, I'm going to... Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
All right, the angel was protecting people from coming into the garden?
Yes.
Okay, now let me see if I remember my scriptures right. There was Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel that God had created, right? So who was he protecting coming into the Garden of Eden?
Well, you got to remember, when he kicked them out of the Garden of Eden, he wouldn't let them back in. So he put this cherubim who has actually 4 different faces.
So he put
I didn't want to get into all the details, but that's what he did. He gave the angel a flaming sword, which was kind of floated around so no one could go to the tree of life. And when I say no one, it was Adam and Eve. They couldn't get back in, because if they were to eat from the tree of life, that it would give them immortality. So that's why he didn't want them back.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So there it is. So anyway, longer story longer, I see all this stuff, and then I'm on a quest to show people. Naturally, I went back down to the river probably in the past 7 years, probably, I'm going to say 200 times, and yelled up, said whatever I had to say, check things, and then I would just go make appointments with other people to show them it. And naturally, I showed everybody, and all it seemed to do was it terrified people.
I don't understand why.
Well, because it's something you've never seen before, and it's also something that it's prophecy. Mm-hmm. Like for instance, the thing that I found at Göbekli Tepe, I found Noah, and you can see him as plain as day, right where they've unearthed the Göbekli Tepe. Excuse me. And anyway, long story longer.
And just for our listeners, how do you pronounce it? Göbekli?
Göbekli Tepe.
Tepe
yes.
is actually in Turkey. It's an archaeological area,
Turkey.
yeah.
Which isn't too far from the pyramids and the Giza Plateau in Egypt. It's not that far. It's like a couple-hour flight. So everything's pretty close there.
Yeah.
So, what I was going to tell you was after I've gone to all these religious people, I've actually went to everyone you can possibly imagine. I've gone to, and I'm talking hundreds of people, and I'm also talking about people that are academics, satellite. There's a thing called what's it called? I can't remember, but it's being able to visualize things from a NASA satellite. Oh, it's called sensing, remote sensing. I went over to the Arizona State University, and I went over to the University of Arizona, and also to the University of Southern California here in Los Angeles. And I've shown all these people these things, and they refuse. They just flat out refuse to believe it. But okay. But here's the fun news.
All right.
This Friday, I'm meeting with the. I actually have a presentation at the Archaeological Institute of America, the LA Society, down in a place called Dominguez Hills, California, which is right in Carson, California, which is only probably like 20 miles from where I am right now. So I'm doing a presentation to them, and when I say them, there are three archaeologists there that actually worked at Göbekli Tepe. So they emailed me back and said, we're really excited about you showing us what you found. So I'm very excited about that on Friday.
All right, Gary, stand by. You and I have to take our first break for this hour. Exonation Gary Parker is our special guest, and later on we're going to tell you how you can actually go and see this for yourself. Because seeing is believing, and Gary and I will be back as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios of the X Zone Broadcast Network right here in St. Catharines, Ontario. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X Zone Radio TV. And if you'd like to listen to all the great programming we have available for you, 7/24/365, all you need to do is go to www.xzbn.net. Gary Parker and I will return after this short break. Don't go away.
I can't forget the time or place where we just met. She's just the girl for me, and I want all the world to see we've met. Had it been another day, I might have looked the other way, and I'd have never been aware. But as it is, I'll dream of her tonight. Falling, yes, I am falling, and she keeps calling me back again. I've never known the like of this. I've been alone and I have missed things and kept out of sight. But other girls were never quite like this. da-da-da-da. Falling, yes, I'm falling, and she keeps calling me back again.
Gary Parker's our special guest this hour, Exonation. And Gary, how can people go to actually see what you're talking about?
Well, Rob, they can go to your website and they can probably pull up the NASA photo. But I got to be honest with you, it's hidden. All the things that I'm telling people about are hidden. If I was sitting there beside you or beside them, they would see it in a heartbeat. They would say, oh, my God, there it is right there. Yes, because I know how to pull it up. I know right where to zoom in and zoom out, but it takes time and patience to really see it. So, like I said, this is all they have to do.
Okay.
All you have to do is Google this, ISS. Now, the ISS stands for the International Space Station because that's who took the photo. It's ISS 032-E-009123. So it's SSI 032-E-009123. And you'll be able to pull it up, but just know they really should listen to my instructions, because I actually did make a video of me giving the instructions, and you put it on your website. So if they really want to see it and they have patience, they have to do exactly what I said on the video.
You've gone out to see many scholars. You've gone out to see religious leaders.
Yes.
And this is over how many years?
This has been over 7.5 years.
Why don't you think by now somebody would have said, you know what, Gary, you're right. I can see it. Let's tell the world.
Well, okay, now this is really wild. Okay, now, like you said in the opening of the show, you said that I had sent my information to NASA.
Yeah.
But you said 2024. Then you corrected yourself and said 2023. You're absolutely right. It was 2023. I sent them everything I had, and I also met with the Air Force down here, down in Tucson. And I gave them everything, and I showed them how to see everything. And when I sent it to NASA, the very next day in 2023, they removed the original photo off of the internet.
Wow.
Okay, they took it off their website. Now, you might say, well, Gary, you just told us to Google that. Yes, you can Google it, you can see it, but it's still not the same one. They've changed it, okay? But what happened was, just last week, now this is the part I was going to tell you where there's a twist and a fun thing that happened.
All right.
Nobody really has my phone number. My phone number, I don't really get that many calls once in a while from family or something like that. But I very rarely ever answer a number that doesn't come up. You know, it says unknown. So what happened was I said, I'm going to answer this one. So last week I answered this unknown caller, and I go, hello, and they go, is this Gary Parker? And I, naturally, because I'm funny, I said, is this the IRS? Because I figured that's the only person who's going to be calling me. So with an invisible number. So anyway, the guy on the other end of the phone says, no. He goes, I want to tell you something. Everything you've said on all your, you got to remember something, Rob. I've done over this. This is my 74th. This one here podcast that I've done, 74. So he said, I just want you to know that NASA received the stuff that you had, and they've been really looking at it, and they see everything that you've talked about, everything. And I said, well, who are you? And he goes, I can't tell you that. And I said, well, that doesn't do me any good. He said, Gary, I just want you to know that they monitor you, they know what you're doing, and everything you see in that photo is true. And I said, well, buddy, that makes me feel really good. I said, but I'd even feel better if they invite me down to either Houston or to Northern California to the research center, so I can show them what it is and what's going to happen and what it all means. And he goes, I can't help you with that. I'm just calling you to let you know that they see what you see. I said, fantastic. Thank you so much. So anyway, so that happened last week, which was really kind of fun and not scary, but kind of like weird. Are you following me, Rob?
I am, but all right, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. Somebody, you've got a lot of information on the internet. Like you said, you've done 74 podcast radio interviews.
Yeah,
maybe
but
this
no
was
phone
just
numbers.
Maybe this was somebody just pulling your chain.
Maybe, but it made me feel good. It
Oh,
made
there
me
you
feel better
go.
because I'm thinking, I've put 7.5, almost 8
Yeah.
years of my life into this nonstop, like nonstop. And it made me feel really good that what if he's telling the truth? But if he's not, okay, I get it. I'm still not going to stop.
Sure, of course
But
not.
it's okay. And I'm going to be there on Friday at the Archaeological Institute,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to do my thing. And eventually everybody's going to see it, and they're going to go, oh, my God, our world has changed. And I was hopefully, number one, it's going to be a great change, and hopefully I'll be part of it.
But what happens if they say, nah, don't see a damn thing?
Well, then, you know what? I still have to keep going. So let me just say this. When I'm sitting there with them, it's impossible, and I mean impossible, not to see what I pointed out to them. Now, will they believe it? Maybe not. But just like that Judaic scholar said, he said, you photoshopped that. And I'm expecting that. but all they have to do is, when I would give them the photos, I'd send them to their emails, and all they have to do is look at it. And they would see it's impossible because I think I told you this, at ASU, Arizona State University, I went to their computer department where they actually build software. And what happened was the two professors there looked at this, and when they saw the NASA photo, they said, Gary, that's impossible. We don't have the technology to do that. They go, how did you do that? I said, I didn't do it. I discovered it. They said, there's 4 levels to this photo. I said, exactly. So there you go. So I won't stop.
Well, I don't think you should. Have you approached mainstream media with this?
I have tried I have tried every place. Like, I've emailed all the reporters and asked them to let me stop in and show them what I discovered. Now, I don't give them any details because it sounds a little too freaky. So I said, let me just come by your office. I'll show it to you, and then you will decide whether or not you should write a story about it. Not one has ever called me back. Not even one. So naturally, Rob, like I said to you last time we spoke, I think there's a higher power that's stopping this from moving forward until they want it to move forward. Because I'm putting everything in its place. Everybody, there's so many thousands, tens of thousands of people have seen this. So eventually, the powers that be are going to say, you know what, it's time now. Let's throw Gary a bone and let people see his stuff. That's what I'm hoping. So
if this gets publicized and, let's say these 3 archaeologists do say, hey, Gary, this is fantastic.
Yes.
Let's go with it. What effect do you think this would have on modern day society?
It's going to terrify people.
Why?
Most people, it's going to terrify them.
Why is that?
Because it's aliens from the Cygnus constellation. It's giant aliens that actually created us, and it's going to scare people because they're not used to it. So maybe people in NASA have already seen it, but the rest of the world hasn't seen it. The general public, it's going to scare them. But hopefully, if they listen to my podcast stuff, interviews, they will be able to say, you know what, maybe he's right. Maybe it's not going to be all that bad. And it's not. And actually, what's really funny, Rob, is that I've met with Jews for Jesus and also Jews for Judaism. Mm-hmm. Now, all this stuff they're talking about is all about a guy called the Mashiach, who most Christians believe the Messiah was Jesus. And in the photo, Jesus is all over the photo with the aliens. He's right there with them in the photo. It's amazing.
How do you know
like
that?
I said,
how do you know that wasn't? How do you know that wasn't photoshopped?
No, that's impossible.
Why is that impossible?
How do I know it's not photoshopped?
Yeah.
Because anybody who could do that, number one, is the smartest person in the world. Because it really is technologically, we're not advanced enough to do that. But these beings are.
Hold on here. You've got a picture, right?
Yes.
Of Jesus with aliens.
Yes.
And you're saying that with today's technology, using AI graphic interpreters, that could not be photoshopped, or manipulated?
No, it's impossible. Like I said, if I could show you, you would see it. But it's actually, there's 4 levels to this photo, and on the bottom level are hundreds of thousands of ancient Hebrew letters. Okay, I had some rabbi translate some of the letters for me. And he says, Gary, what you're telling me, this is a new Torah. And you know what the Torah is the Jewish Bible.
That's right.
So, yes. So it's like the Dead Sea Scrolls. That's what's in this photo. And it's the whole thing, all in one photo.
Now, the photo you're talking...
All these things...
The photo that you're talking about is not a separate photo from the NASA photo.
No. It's all in the photo.
All right. That's where I was getting a little mixed up, because when I was saying, well, about it being photoshopped, I thought you were talking about a separate photo. I apologize.
No, my bad. No, it was all in one photo.
Wow.
All of mankind, our history, all of it is in one photo. Everything. It's amazing.
Even Donald Trump?
Ah, that's funny. I hope not, man. I can't stand that guy. So I can't stand him. He's an embarrassment to mankind. But anyway.
Why don't the aliens take him?
Oh, wouldn't that be great?
I don't know.
I've asked L, who's the main alien. I've said a few times, can't you get rid of this guy? He's really getting on my nerves. But he never answers me. I just want to say I said that out loud a couple of times. So,
all right.
What an embarrassment.
Stand by. X-Zone, our guest this hour is Gary Parker. Go to our website, xzoneradiotv.com, and there's a link there to Gary's photo and to his video. Wow. Giant aliens.
Giant. And I mean big. Like L, the main one, is bigger than the pyramid.
Wow.
And I'm talking about the Great Pyramid. He's gigantic. And he's right there. And I just really wish, and somebody will. Eventually somebody will. They'll invite me to the TV station. I'll show it. They'll see it. We'll get a couple guys to bring him out. When I say guys, I mean like IT,
right.
Special computer guys.
All right, stand by. We've got to take our break. This is the X-Zone. I'm Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center and studios in St. Catharines, Ontario, Canada. Send me an email, xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. Gary Parker and I will return on the other side as we continue talking about this fascinating discovery that Gary has made from a NASA UFO photo. NASA photo. We'll be back, X-Zone Nation. Whatever you do, don't go away.
Like of this, I've been alone and I have missed things and kept out of sight. But other girls were never quite like this.
Funny face, I love you. Funny face, I need you. My whole world's wrapped up in you. When the road I walk seems all uphill, and the colors in my rainbow turn blue, you kiss the tears away, you smile at me and say, funny face, I love you.
Welcome back, everyone. Like I've been saying all night, if you'd like to listen to all the other great programming that we have here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn. Let's try this one again. www.xzbn.net. Ever have one of those days where the brain wants to go in one way and the mouth says, my way? That's the kind of day it's been for me. Gary, are there other photos that you've looked at the same way as you've looked at this photo? And if so, what have you found?
Yes, like I mentioned earlier, what was funny was that when I mentioned it last time, Göbekli Tepe, I kind of jumped right off of the Giza Plateau in Egypt right to Göbekli Tepe without a segue. And I apologize for that, and to your listeners, because they were probably thinking, oh, my God, he was just talking about Egypt. Now he's talking about Turkey.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, I have. I found the thing after seeing the NASA photo. In the photo, it shows Noah's Ark, and it shows Noah. Okay, and as I was looking at it, I thought to myself, and because I actually saw, I knew about Göbekli Tepe, and I knew how the land looked from photos. So in the photo, in the NASA photo from the Giza Plateau, I saw this shape, and I said, "Oh my God, what is that?" And it was a round. It was kind of a round, almost like an inner tube looking thing. And I said, "What is that?" And all of a sudden, I figured it out. I was looking at all that, and it was it was Noah and the Ark. And so what I said was, I'm going to go to Göbekli Tepe and find a satellite photo. So I did, and then I tilted it like I tilt the NASA photo,
Right.
and all of a sudden, it the face of Noah pops out, right out of, and it's like plain as day. So I said, "Oh my God, this is so much easier to show people than the NASA photo, because there are so many things in the NASA photo." So that's when I decided to get the meeting with the archaeologist on Friday night to do my presentation. So it's only one face, they'll be able to see it, and it's as plain as day. And also, you said other pictures. Yes, I actually also did the same thing with the Sun and Moon Pyramid in Mexico. And that also has writing beside it. It's ancient Hebrew writing. And there are things there, but I've been so busy with the NASA, with the Egypt, the Giza Plateau link, and the Göbekli Tepe photo that I really have not concentrated on any other place.
How do you think the different layers were placed on that photo?
I can tell you exactly how it happened, but it's going to sound so bizarre, but it's really not. There's a thing called string theory. And string theory is based on vibration. Everything vibrates. Everything in the world vibrates. And what happens is, like, we vibrate. Anything that's alive, it vibrates. Trees, everybody is on their own, vibration level.
Okay, frequency.
And what happens is, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I was just chatting. No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So what happens is the Great Pyramid. It's not a tomb. It's a machine, and it still works. It runs off of solar, okay? And what happens is, in 2002, I don't know if you remember this, but in 2002, when they sent that robot up the Queen's Chamber, I don't know if you remember this, they drilled a hole in it. Do you remember that?
Yeah, that's the Egyptian style of a colonoscopy. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. So what happens is when they drilled that in 2002, that's what set the Great Pyramid off to vibrate. And what it did, it vibrated so low that people didn't even know it was vibrating.
Wow.
Okay? And then it took 10 years, from 2002 to 2012, to create this photo. So what it did was it moved the sand, and it created all these images in the sand, 4 levels of sand, all around the Great Pyramid, all over the Giza Plateau. And it created this from vibrating. Then, and don't ask me how they knew, but Elle and the aliens knew that the International Space Station would eventually go around and take pictures of this. So what happens is 3 months after they took the photo, all of the images were washed away. Like it held it in place for 12 years. But it actually, to create it, it took 10 years, from 2002 to 2012. And then after it all moved into place the way it was vibrated and supposed to do, and it's alien technology, all of a sudden, 3 months after the picture was taken, it was all wiped away. So you can't see it anymore on new photos of the Giza Plateau.
I was going to ask you, over those 12 years that the writing was in the sand, so to speak, how come it wasn't disturbed by any sandstorm or any other, natural occurrence or man-made occurrence?
But it probably was, but it's alien technology. What do I know from that? These aliens are, not only are they giant, but they have giant heads. I think I have a picture. I sent it to you a couple of times. That's exactly what they look like. You're talking about beings that are way past any sandstorm. There's nothing's going to get in their way, and so nothing's going to stop them from their mission. So there you go.
And what is their mission?
Well, they're going to show up. They're going to show. They're going to come back here. As a matter of fact, they didn't tell me this, and I didn't find this date in the NASA photo. But my date that I think they're going to, when I say they're going to come back, they're going to come back to the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Okay, and they're going to come back on July 26th, 2028. And when I say they come back, what's going to happen is they're going to. Do you know anything about the third temple in Judaism?
No, I don't.
Okay, all right. Well, don't worry.
I'm a good old Anglican boy.
Yeah, well, if you really want to learn what's going to happen, all you have to do is read what it says in the Torah. A lot of times, even the Jews believe that man's going to build the third temple. There was a first temple from King Solomon. He built the first temple. The second temple was when Jesus was still alive, and then they crucified him. And 33 years later, after the Babylonians had taken the Jews into exile, what happens is the second temple was knocked down by the Romans, and now they keep talking about a third temple. So what happens is they think that man is supposed to build the third temple. No. It's going to come down from the sky already built. And when I say it's going to come down from the sky, it's way too big. But you will be able to see it from a distance, and it will be right above the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Am I making sense?
You are, but here's a question for you. 2028 comes and goes, nothing. What happens?
That's okay. If it comes, they didn't tell me a date. This is a date that I picked. They didn't tell me this date.
Well, why wouldn't they give you the date?
Oh well, tell me. Why won't they? Well, hopefully on Friday night they're gonna let these archaeologists see Noah in the photo. So I'm hoping. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So, but that's my guess. 2028, July 26th.
So
as a matter of fact, it's 7:21 in the morning.
So, which time? Pacific, Eastern?
It's GMT, Greenwich Mean Time.
Okay. Do you ever get? Is this all part of the apocalypse? The end of the world? Is this
it's totally,
doomsday?
Rob, it's 100% the apocalypse. Now, when I say apocalypse, you got to know what the real meaning of apocalypse is. It's not what Hollywood says it is in all the movies. What the definition of apocalypse is: the uncovering or revealing of divine mysteries. That's apocalypse. That's from the Greek. So it's the uncovering or revealing of divine mysteries, and that's exactly what the NASA photo is. It reveals all the divine mysteries. One photo has everything in it. Everything. Heaven, hell, God, Jesus, everything.
Does it
so
also?
It's amazing, and it's also. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Does it also have the other religious philosophies in there?
No, but it does have, like, for instance, the way they travel is in a giant cube, which is 300 square miles. Okay, that's the cube that they travel in, and in the Muslim faith, in Mecca, they go around the cube. That's right in Mecca. They go around this black cube, and they say, and the Muslims believe that that's the shape of heaven, and they are 100% correct.
Heaven's a black cube?
Well, I don't know if it's black, but it's a cube. It's a cube, and that's how they travel. That's heaven is a cube, yes.
So it sounds like something from Star Trek. What was the name of that? The Borg. That's right. They traveled in a cube.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that. Sure. Dude, look, I don't know why and it's 300 miles square. It's giant.
Yeah.
But they're giant. So what are you going to do? And they have a lot of souls that they're dealing with. So
here's a quick question. Here's a quick question for you, Gary. We've got about a minute before I have to go to a break. If they
Sure.
Did these giant aliens live on Earth at one time?
Yes, for sure.
Then how come we don't
Certainly
have any
they did.
giant artifacts to support that claim?
Here's the deal, Rob. They didn't even know that the Great Pyramid was vibrating. We're a bunch of morons compared to them. We're like cockroaches. We don't see anything. We don't know anything because they don't want us to see it.
I see.
And how hard is that? People are like we said earlier. People are voting for Trump. How smart is America? Come on. Come on. We have de-evolved as human beings. We don't have the right to see this stuff because we're not smart enough. But hopefully, when they come back, they'll give us a little bit of their DNA, maybe a couple more souls, and then we'll be smart enough. So there you go.
But there's the other side of that coin, Gary.
What's that?
They're not there.
Oh no, they're there. They're there. Trust me. They're there. It is going to happen. So, yeah. But like I said, I hope people don't freak out and start jumping off of buildings. That's all I hope.
Exonation, stand by. Gary and I will be back on the other side of this break as we wrap up this segment and this hour and this show for tonight. It's been a great night. Gary Parker is our guest. I'm Rob McConnell. This is the X Zone. Here in the X Zone, we're searching for answers but demanding the truth. And it's a thankless job, people. Take it from me. www.xzbn.net is the website for the X Zone Broadcast Network. And for the X Zone Radio TV show, www.xzoneradiotv.com.
I love you.
Maybe only 15 more minutes.
Funny face, I love you. Funny face, I need you. These are the sweetest words I've ever heard. Funny face, don't leave me. Funny face, believe me. My whole world.
Gary Parker is our guest this hour, Explanation. And Gary, I have to ask you this, something. Is there any mention of these giant aliens in the Bible or any other religious philosophy text?
Well, sure. As a matter of fact, the Book of Enoch, that's not in the Bible. It's not in the canon. But the Book of Enoch explains that the Watchers who work for El or God, and that they came down and they started having sex with humans. Their DNA mixed, and they made these giants called Nephilim. And the Nephilim ended up and there wasn't just like 4 or 5 of them. There were thousands of these giants. They were gigantic. And what happens is at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, they've actually found some of these giants that have carved out things and carved actually life-size versions of their bodies. And you can see them if you Google Göbekli Tepe, and there's a couple other places I can't remember close by Göbekli Tepe where you see life-size images of these monsters. Now, when I say life-size, they're like 7'8", maybe 8 foot tall, but they're terrifying looking. And those same beings that are at the statues of them at Göbekli Tepe, you can see them in the NASA photo. So, yeah, there was definitely giants. As a matter of fact, when you talk about Genesis in the Bible, let me just say this, not all of Genesis is wrong, but most of it is wrong. Read the Book of Enoch. That's the true Genesis.
Gary,
Book of
before you were telling us that these aliens were bigger than the pyramids. So,
There's one alien. His name's El.
oh, so
He's the main guy.
He's
He
the
runs
head
the deal.
honcho. He's the head honcho.
He's the head honcho.
Gotcha.
And he's bigger than everybody else. He's gigantic. Everybody else is smaller than him.
So where did these?
Way smaller.
What's where did they originally come from?
Cygnus, the Cygnus constellation, and it's a planet called Satyr. S-E-D-R.
And are these true astronomical places?
In the NASA photo, it shows the constellation of Cygnus. Okay. And I had actually sent it to a couple. I drew it out, and from the NASA photo, drew it out, and because I didn't know what it was, but I noticed that the alien was looking at it. So I said, "What is this?" And I drew it. I sent it to a couple astronomers over at UCLA, and they said, "Oh, this is the Cygnus constellation, which is called. It's either called the Swan or the Northern Cross. I'm sorry. Yes, the Northern Cross, the Swan or the Northern Cross, and yeah, that's where they come from, and they are big."
When do you think they'll come back? You were saying in 2025?
2028, July
2028.
26th.
I'm sorry.
July 26th, 2028 at 7:21 Greenwich Mean Time.
When was the last time they were here?
Oh, that's a really good question. I have no idea. But that, when was Noah's time? Let's say 15,000 years ago, 14,000, something like that. So because Göbekli Tepe, they said is between 13 to 15,000 years old.
So if they haven't
and then
been,
go back. Go ahead.
So if they haven't been back since Noah's time, why do you think they're coming back now?
Well, see, in my opinion, what they do is they have other planets that they have to deal with, and these planets are in their own different evolutionary time. Some of the planets are like Earth-type planets. Some are molten lava, and some have oceans, and so it's all. So they're making their rounds. So they're going to come back here and hang out. Also in what's it called? The Cygnus constellation. There was a giant a supernova. Two planets crashed in together. I don't think they can go back home anymore because I don't think it's there anymore. And I think that was, hang on, it was, I can't remember the call letters too, but it was an actual event, and it happened, we actually, because it's 550 light years away from us, it took, I think it was 1,000 years for the light from that supernova to reach us, and it came to us like 2 months ago. So part of the sky was red, and that was the light from the supernova in the Cygnus constellation.
How has all this work that you're doing on this quest you're on changed your personal life?
Oh, it's really a drag. It's really a drag because this is all I do. This is all I do, and it's very, very extremely frustrating. So it's not good, but I can't help it.
So
I got to keep doing it.
Where do you get the drive to keep doing it?
That's a really good question, man. You know what? I really don't know. All I know is I think we're getting closer. So, in 2028, but I'm hoping that people will see what I'm showing them, and then I can get back to my regular life. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully people will see it, see what it is, write about it, and share it with the world. That's what I'm hoping.
What has been some of the comments from John Q. Public?
Oh, well, first of all, when they first see it, they go, "Oh, my God, I see it. This is unbelievable." But then they never follow up. They never look at it more than one time because, like I said, you got to remember, I've met with probably 50 priests, probably 45 rabbis, probably 100 academics, and they all have their own lives. Like when I was in Jerusalem and I met with 3 rabbis, all three rabbis said, Gary, we're not ready for this. I just had a grandchild. I'm not ready for this. And naturally, what I said was, get ready. This is the thing you guys pray for 3 times a day. It's showing up. There's no stopping it. But they only care about their own lives. Are you following me?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, which I understand. I totally get that. I got a new job and I've got a new car, and but that is so petty compared to what's going to happen.
What is going to happen? I mean, besides the end of the world.
Oh, no, it's not the end of the world. It's the beginning of the world. It's the end of the world as we know it. Oh. But that happened on July 26, 2012, but nobody saw it. And it took me 3 years to find it, because I found it in 2015. But I didn't know what it was. It took me a couple of years to figure that out. So yeah, nothing's going to happen. But aliens are going to show up. No more wars, no more death, and no more sickness. It's going to be nice.
Is there a connection between what you have found in the NASA photos and the Mayan calendar?
Absolutely, 100%.
How about the face on Mars?
Go ahead.
How about the face on Mars?
No, that's a joke.
Okay.
Don't even worry about that.
Okay.
That's not worth your time. Let me just say this. From the Mayan calendar was supposed to be December 21st, 2012. The NASA photo showed up on July 26th, 2012, 5 months apart. That's all they are apart. So our calendar, the Jewish calendar, and the Mayan calendar are off a little bit, only by 5 months.
Are they going to help us with the problems we have on this planet? Are they going to help us with global warming? Are they going to help with the sickness that we have in this planet? Are they going to help us with the food crisis we have? Or are they just going to say, it sucks to be you guys. Goodbye.
Now, personally, I think it's going to be a new heaven and a new earth, and it's going to be fantastic. Now, do I know that 100%? No. But I really feel like it's at least 95. So is there a 5% chance that it will be worse? Maybe.
Yeah.
But I really don't think so, because everything that was ever written, especially in the Dead Sea Scrolls and in the Torah, which is the Jewish Bible, it says everything's going to be great. Everything's going to be great, and the knowledge of God is going to cover the world like the ocean.
All right, quick questions for you.
That's my hope. Go ahead.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, but my clock is ticking down here very fast.
Yes.
God, I forgot what I was going to ask you now.
I'm sorry, bro. I talk too much.
Oh, no, I know what it is. Is there any correlation between what you're doing, what you've discovered, and what people are claiming to be Planet X coming this way?
No, that's nothing. Forget that. That's a joke. No.
How can, you've said things are a joke, but how do we know that what you're talking about isn't a joke as well?
You're absolutely right. And I can't punch people or strangle people and tell them you gotta look at it, you gotta believe it. They'll do it in their own time, and then they'll realize I was telling the truth, and hopefully everything will be smooth. And like I said, people will not start jumping off of buildings being terrified.
Well, why would they if all that you've said is good?
I know, but the thing is, you said it last time we talked. You said, Gary, people probably won't, because we've been so inundated with aliens and UFOs and things showing up there. And I agree with you 100%. So I'm hoping that most humans realize that this is going to be a great thing, that we're going to evolve, we're all going to become smarter, and it's going to be a great life and a great afterlife.
So you've got this big meeting this coming Friday.
Yes.
Do me a favor. Let me know how it turns out.
I promise I will, Rob. Rob, let me tell you something. You've been the best for me. You've been great. You're just a great interviewer. You're a sweetheart. And let me just say this, that when this all comes together, hopefully you and I aren't too old. Hopefully it doesn't take that long. But you will be number one that I contact. When everybody, the LA Times, the New York Times, every paper and every radio station wants to talk to me, I'll say I got to talk with Rob McConnell first because he's the guy who believed in me.
Gary, do me a favor. Take care of yourself. Don't give up the ship, my friend. And
I won't.
I'll look forward to hearing about what happens at your meeting. And always great talking to you, buddy.
Same here, man. Thank you so much.
You take care, Gary. Exo Nation.
Okay, pal.
Gary Parker was our guest this hour. Man, this gentleman has more power of belief than anybody else I know, and I hope that he's right and that there's a successful end to his quest. I'll be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock as once again we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X Zone. You know, and so please, take care of each other. We share this planet together. And yes, we are brother's keeper. So until tomorrow night, everyone, always keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.